Welcome into another edition of the Leadership Library, hosted by CEO and author Rocky Romanella. Rocky is the author of the book Tighten the Lug Nuts, The Principles of Balanced Leadership, and has over 40 years of business experience as a prominent member of the UPS Supply Chain Solutions team, as well as the CEO of Unitech Global Services. So sit back, grab your notebook, and take a seat, and get ready for this edition of the Leadership Library.
Welcome to the Leadership Library. I'm your host, Rocky Romanella, and we're going to continue on our series of our series on this topic of action plans and the SWOT analysis. Today, we're going to talk about weaknesses. Now, I'm not going to take the easy way out and just give you the list of what I gave you under strengths and then say poor quality or poor customer service because I just said customer service was a strength. No, I'm going to talk about something that's going to change your way of thinking a little bit. And that's this concept of don't allow your strengths to be your weaknesses. Now, obviously, when you're talking about the weaknesses, you're talking about some of the deficiencies that you see that you're trying to fix. It could be a lack of technology, or technology isn't as strong as you would like it to be. Or maybe you haven't done a good job on building strong alliances and partnerships. You haven't taken the time to build an intellectual property kind of practice inside your organization, so you haven't trademarked or you haven't, maybe put things through a patent process. You have a higher cost structure than you would like, and maybe your brand isn't as strong in the marketplace as you'd like. Those are all the obvious, I think, weaknesses, and really become sort of, as we were joking here in the beginning, of, okay, in the strengths, I may say we have strong brand awareness, but now I'm saying we have weaker or poor brand awareness. That's true. But I want you to think about weaknesses sometimes as being a part of your strength. And what I mean by that is one of the things that we always try to guard against is don't allow your strength to become your weakness. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you asked me what my strengths were as an individual, if you were doing a SWOT analysis with me as part of a career development process, and we listed my strengths, and you said, okay, Rocky, what do you think your strengths are? I would say my energy, my enthusiasm. I'm a hard worker. I get to the spot quick. I'm creative. I'm innovative. I'm always thinking of new ideas. So that could be a list. Gee, that almost sounds boastful. I don't mean it to be. I'm just listing strengths as part of this conversation. What would my weaknesses be? Well, I'd probably tell you my weaknesses in my case would be I get to the spot quick, my energy, my enthusiasm, my hard work. Because if you think about it for a second, my strength in many ways is my weaknesses, especially when you're talking about people, for example. Because if I have this, what I believe, excellent work ethic, which may mean, I'm there 10 or 12 hours a day. Well, the people in my care, the people who work for me may think they have to work 10 or 12 hours a day. Well, if he's coming in at 6 o'clock in the morning, do I have to be there at 5:30? If he's leaving at 6 o'clock at night, do I have to leave at 6:30? So you always have to guard against not allowing your strength to be your weakness. I think that's so important. So as you start to put together the weaknesses in your action plan, look, there's going to be the obvious. Yeah, maybe your quality is not as good as you'd like it to be. Maybe your customer service process in your phone center isn't as good as it could be. And those are real issues you have to address. But don't lose sight of your strengths and not allowing your strengths to become your weakness. You have to guard against that. Especially, think about, for example, in the business side of it, you love the idea that you're a highly efficient organization. We used to have, years ago at UPS, we had a saying that said we run the tightest ship in the shipping business. We were so proud of that logo, except that when you talk to customers, they would be, well, that's great for you, but tightest ship in the shipping business is about you. Does that mean you won't come back for a second pickup if I'm not ready because that's inefficient? So you have to wonder, is that strength really becoming a weakness? So I think that under the W, there are the obvious weaknesses that you need to address. But I also think you should look at your strengths and then look at, are any of my strengths becoming part of my weaknesses? And how do I ensure that doesn't happen? So we've covered the S, we've covered the W. We're going to talk about opportunities and then barriers. Until our next conversation, thank you for joining the Leadership Library. I am your host, Rocky Romanella, who is always working to guard against not allowing my strengths to become my weakness. Thanks, and talk to you soon. Be safe out there, everyone.